Welcome to a Dead Squirrel in the Woods podcast. Now, last week we covered George Wheeler and his sightings in Elmwood, Wisconsin. Do you want to continue on with the Elmwood theme here?
I think it's best. This is just such a rich topic for such a small town.
Yeah, and I did find a lot of cases, so I guess let's ride this train until we run out.
Sounds good to me.
All right. Well, now this one comes from Elm Grove, and it's from January 24th. No. Oh, Elmwood. This one comes from Elmwood. Sorry, I skipped one. This one is in Pierce County, Elmwood, Wisconsin, 1977, October. Now, early October 1977, Paul Fredrickson. Remember Paul Fredrickson? He was the part of the last tale for George Wheeler.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, him and his son were driving home up Tuttle Hill near Elmwood. Paul's son Mark pointed to the southeast, asking if that was the way the moon comes up.
Oh, so why is he asking that in the middle of the day?
Yeah, not sure. Yeah. It doesn't say what time. It just says October. So it might have been at night. But the moon, yeah.
Yeah, then the moon would have already been up.
So it might have been at dawn or dusk. Yeah.
Yeah.
So now, early October 1977, Paul Fredrickson and his son described this. I took one look at the speed it was approaching, and I knew it couldn't be the moon. It was round and a bright orange, but as it came close, it turned out to be a crescent shape. Well, didn't he see that out his window? He said.
Yeah, with his wife. So
yeah, but his wife didn't see it.
No,
she
his
didn't
wife
get
didn't. Yeah. No, he went to go get his wife and it was gone. So this is a fast thing.
So the light was coming from the front end as it hovered near us. We could see the underside very, very clearly. It was round, nearly saucer-shaped, dark gray, and about 50 feet in diameter. That's not as big.
So it went from round to crescent to now
underneath
saucer.
It was crescent.
Oh, underneath.
I mean round.
Oh, okay.
So when it was coming up, it was in a crescent shape.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and it was dark gray and about 50 feet in diameter. Okay, so I don't know any round objects that fly other than like a frisbee, but
yeah. Oh, and this one's really small. If it's only 50 feet, the other ones were 250 and 160.
Now, like George Wheeler's first case, he said this one came over them and it made no sound, but when it passed about 1,000 feet up, he could hear it made like a whoosh sound passing over them, and it disappeared with the snap of your finger.
So I wonder if that means that it like literally like disappeared, like it teleported, or if it like just zoomed away so fast that it.
Now, this is one of 3 sightings he's had. We covered the first one. I guess this would be a second one.
Yeah.
And yes, I don't know what's going on with that one, but
just like one more thing like about it, they all like every story we've had so far in like the last episode and this episode, they've all been bright orange. Everything has been bright orange.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
it's
all
a common
on fire.
thing. So I don't know what would explain the bright orange.
They said like flames and that.
Could like a helicopter have bright orange on it?
Like the propellers, but like
I don't know. But that would make noise, so I don't know.
Like, and I'm assuming they knew what a helicopter looked like. I mean, that's kind of round, but it's like you'd be able to see the people, and that can't shoot beams either, like it did to George.
No, so it doesn't make sense. But now, Let's jump to 1980.
So
There was a
only a couple
boom.
years later.
Yeah, there was a boom in the 1980s of sightings too.
Oh, weird.
Yeah. So, all right. So January 22nd, 23rd. Um, I there were there's this didn't give me the exact date. It just has that time range, and
Yeah.
that's from Elm Grove, in that's in Pierce County too. So
Mhm.
Elm Grove PD received two calls. So these are two events. So around that time they had two events. The first call came at 5:45 a.m. when
Oh.
a resident on San Fernando Drive. I don't know where San Fernando Drive is. Maybe we'll have to take a trip to Elm Grove when we go to UFO days. See
Yeah.
if there's anything out there. Um,
5:45 in the morning.
right.
See if we can
I
recreate
mean, I
that.
don't know if it's a vacation. I don't know if I want to wake up that early, but
Yeah.
whatever. The report says that the caller saw a bright yellowish orange. Here's this orange again.
Yeah.
White object flashing and sparking in the western sky.
That's kind of new, the flashing and the sparking.
Yeah.
Usually they say it's like flames.
So, this could have a logical reason behind it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the caller noted minutes later claiming the object landed across from her home.
Oh, that's so weird. We haven't heard it land. Usually it just stays flying and it's like
Yeah.
hovering. So it landed.
Uh-huh.
Wouldn't they be able to find like, wouldn't they? Wouldn't they be able to find like tracks or something like where it landed or?
Yeah. Now, the police responded, and when they arrived, nothing was found.
Oh, so not even like
No.
no. See now if it's like, let's just say that it was actually on fire, wouldn't it have burned the ground or
Mhm.
wouldn't have like the light like done something like, and that is
Yeah,
just
I
so
don't.
weird.
Yeah, I don't know. It's odd. Now, the second call was around 10:45 p.m. when a resident on Blue Mountain Road reported a large reddish glow in her window at about 10:30, and it vanished in a few minutes. Now, this one's pretty simple. She saw a large reddish glow in her window.
Yeah.
I mean, she must have thought it was odd, but
I think I would
that could
actually
be.
like be terrified if
I'd like a little more detail on how big this reddish glow was, where it was
yeah.
located, kind
Now,
of.
so if these are the same day,
Well,
that
I'm
is kind of weird.
assuming the 10:45 p.m. is the 22nd, and the 5:45 a.m. is probably the 23rd.
Okay, but that's still
You
so
know,
weird, and
um, I was just kind of going off the report. Um, I'm not sure. So,
yeah, I wonder if like, and it's two residents really really close to each other on similar like days like that.
yes, yeah.
That's kind of weird.
So now, October 21, 1980. An unidentified flying object was seen by several residents on October 21st in the evening. And this was in Ellsworth.
Oh,
The UFO was first reported to the Herald office at about 9 p.m.
mm-hmm.
Okay. It was reported by Alan and Marty Dickers, stating that they saw the object from their home on Grand Street.
So does it describe this object at all, or does it say they just saw an object?
Well, let's go a little further in here and see. The boy's mother was on her way home from the supermarket when she heard a noise and witnessed strange lights.
It's lights again.
Yeah, so she somehow called her son and tried to follow the object, but lost it in the west. So Alan Dickers, he drew a sketch of the object.
Mm-hmm.
There was no visible outline size that can be estimated by the lights. So it was just the lights that he saw, and the lights were blinking red and white stationary ones. Now, I know helicopters have lights on them for safety. Other, like planes do.
Mm.
Um, it doesn't say if it was silent or anything like that. So, um, who knows what this could be? Um, but it was obviously weird to some people.
I mean, he drew a sketch of it, and like, there's no
Yeah.
visible outline. Like,
So this could almost be anything.
yeah. So
Yeah.
this one, I'm not as this one I'm a little bit skeptical about,
Yeah.
just because we don't know.
Right.
There's no like real like solid details in here, like George's and that
Right.
farmer's.
All right. Well, we're gonna jump to 1988 now, I guess.
Oh wow.
And this one takes place in Bay City, Wisconsin.
Ooh.
So this one, under the UFO Wisconsin page, was called Strange Lights Craft Scene Near Bay City, Saturday Night.
Hmm.
This one, the observer's name is kept confidential. And like we said, the episode prior, some people don't want their name attached to it.
It is
Okay.
a touchy subject.
Yeah. So, a close encounter with a fast moving, bright lighted aircraft uh, of some sort left a Bayfield teenager and her friend frightened and questioning what they had witnessed. Okay. Well,
So it's just,
so it's unidentified.
and it's another bright aircraft. Now
Okay.
you think if like they're, like these like silent almost, or like this like small whooshing noise, you think that they would be like, I wonder why they have this bright light. Like,
Right.
is it to get attention? Is it to communicate? I mean, do they really need, like, wouldn't you go unnoticed? I mean,
Yeah.
no noise. Would you want to do that?
Yeah, I don't know. So, um, it was report. They did. I don't know how they reported it. We'll go further in and see what goes on here. But the 17-year-old girl, whose name has been kept confidential
Mm-hmm.
per her request, okay, said a large object with bright white lights on one end and a flashing red light on the other hovering directly over her vehicle. Now, red and white lights isn't a red flag to me. A lot of things fly with red and white lights, I think. I'm not
Yeah.
sure. I don't know about that, but my logic would say red or white, I wouldn't be freaked out. But this hovering directly over.
Okay, so as we go through, like as we go through each story, and it like gets further in time in the future. In the
Yeah.
past, it was orange and it would stay away.
Right.
Then it'd get closer, and now the lights changed, and now it's getting closer to cars. Like it's like evolving, and
So,
it's like wanting to communicate almost.
so now, this is odd. It hovers directly over her vehicle, and then it just disappeared. And this happened around 10:30 p.m. So it hovered and then poof, gone.
You hear that a lot, where they
Yeah.
just disappear, and
It
how did they
almost
leave?
it almost sounds like the flights we were talking about in the Michigan Triangle, where
It's like
and
1 minute they're
things,
fine, and the next they're not.
or the ships even they just disappear with no evidence of them ever being there.
Which is probably why one
Yeah.
of the theories for all
Yeah.
these things is UFOs, because
Right.
they're being reported as flying away
So-
visibly.
So the object was first noted high in the sky, looking towards Plum City or Elmwood.
Now,
Okay.
Plum City and Elmwood are both like
Yeah, in that
really,
county.
really
Yeah.
small towns. Yeah.
Yes. After picking up her friend, intrigued by the sight, she drove toward it to find out what it was. So it reappeared, I guess, and why would you drive towards it?
That's so weird.
Okay.
It's like
So-
George also did that. He was intrigued. Like, I wonder if there's like this like almost like hypnotic
Yeah, I'm not sure.
reason.
So, but as she started towards it, it's like the object knew she started going towards it because it moved towards her direction.
That's weird.
Now, this freaked her out, obviously, and she turned the car, heading back to Bay City, but within seconds, it was hovering above about 20 feet above her speeding car. So it was going along with her, above it.
You know, I wonder if it was trying to do what it did to George. And in the last episode, we talked about how George got hit by that beam, and then within 6 months later, he died, losing his memory and all that. I wonder if it was trying to.
Well, we know it wasn't a hang glider.
No, I mean
or a small plane, because
it turned around. It went in her direction.
Now, of course, she was frightened, and the girls tried to ignore the object and headed to Red Wing. Upon getting home, she told her mother about the incident. So they called the Herald just, to ask if there were any reports of the sighting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Maybe she was going crazy. She didn't know,
But she had these other girls with her, right?
Yeah, her friend. And, well, wouldn't you know it, there were no other reports.
That's so weird. It's like trying to follow her and...
Yeah.
Oh, that's so, like... I feel like these UFOs, they are kind of, picking people and, trying to communicate with them.
Yep.
Which is... I wonder if they're trying to use... Because they upgraded the lights. I wonder if they saw our lights that we have here and are using them to, communicate, but it's so weird. And it's also even weirder now that we don't see this as much anymore.
No.
Or it might just not be getting reported because of, people are, scared, but that's just... It was, this big boom. It was, almost normal to see it, and then now we don't see it anymore.
So the next one is from April 24th, 1988, in Ellsworth. The website says it came from the Pierce County Herald. It was published April 27th of that year.
A lot of Pierce County.
Yeah. So, UFO sightings, suspicions reported around the county. A mysterious object with flashing white, red, and yellow lights seen over Ellsworth early Friday morning, and strange lights and a humming sound seen and heard near the quarry outside Elmwood were reports logged as possible UFOs by Pierce County Sheriff's dispatchers. Now, Ann Steele of East Ellsworth called the police around 2:30 a.m. Friday to say she witnessed an object slightly smaller than a hot air balloon.
Oh.
Okay. So now we have a reference of an object.
Yeah.
Hovering over the east end of town. Steele described the object as having a flashing white light on top, yellow and red lights along the sides, as well, and was spinning when she observed it. Spinning.
That's new. So we've just had it just flies. We've never had a...
Yeah, so... Okay. So this one was spinning. When she... Two friends of Steele were walking towards Steele's apartment on Broadway Street when the sighting occurred, and although the other women didn't see the object, both told the police they felt strange, as if they were in slow motion.
Oh, that's weird. That's really, freaky.
Yeah, so now, another one. After 3 a.m. on Saturday, Anthony Pierce of Elmwood reported seeing peculiar lights and a humming sound coming from near the Elmwood quarry. Police called again within the hour, but the investigation by the deputies indicated the commotion was caused by a rock crusher operating a quarry. Well, that's your probable reason for the sighting.
Yeah. Well, is this the same quarry that
Yeah.
George had saw his?
Yeah. That's the quarry in the area.
So it's very possible that this is a frequent occurrence still
Yeah.
at that quarry.
Yes, that is a very possible thing. So, now, I mean, we can just stay in Ellsworth, I guess.
Yeah.
Um, let's go to April 30th of 1988. And this comes from River Falls Journal and published on May 5th that year. More unusual lights are spotted in the skies. An Ellsworth woman reported seeing an unusual bright green and white light, green this time,
That's a new color.
in the sky above her rural home on Stonehammer Road shortly after, or shortly before 9 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
The woman who declined to be identified, um, in an article published Saturday in the Eau Claire Leader Telegram, said her husband called the Pierce County Sheriff's Department and 2 officers were sent to the scene. I don't know how, but yeah, okay. Well, they're there to serve and protect.
Yeah.
It was a very bright light, white and green. It really wasn't consistent in the way it flickered, she said.
Oh.
Not like an airplane's light. The woman said, it was like a strobe light. What caused me to question it was that it went from side to side rather than in a straight line like an airplane.
Side to side?
Mm-hmm.
That's...
So she said the light was high up in the sky, but slightly lower than the height of the planes that travel near her home. So she's seen a lot of planes.
Oh, okay.
You know, so each night about 5 or 6 planes usually fly over the area. So she's used to this.
Yeah.
Okay. At different points, it would appear and then reappear, as if it was going away from us. She and her husband watched the light for about 20 minutes before going outside to find out if it was making a noise.
So why would you go outside though?
Yeah.
You see this strange thing and you're like, yeah, let's go check that out.
Well, she heard nothing noise-wise when they did check that out. So, but yeah, I don't know why you'd go and check it out. One other person reported seeing the same bright light but refused to disclose his name.
I mean, this is new than the other one, so this is the same year, 1988, as a couple of the ones, but there's this green light. That's new.
So, do you want to cover the next one?
Sure.
All right. Well, here, let's try that one.
Okay. In August of 1988, and this is again in Elmwood. The details were that it's strange lights and unusual marks reported in the area. And I remember the one where the lady said it landed across from her house. They didn't find any marks. So this is new. Unusual marks in rural Elmwood farm field and 2 reports of strange lights in Dunn and Pierce counties late last week have hearts of UFO fans pumping again. We don't know what to make of them, UFO Site Center President Tom Weber told Eau Claire Leader Telegram reporter Friday afternoon. Weber was at the scene of a supposed mysterious happening in Dunn County. Charles Hutchins of rural Elmwood was cutting hay last Tuesday when he looked behind his mower and he noticed some unusual circles in the field. The 15 to 20 marks were purplish-gray colors, dusted with white residue, which felt like graphite to the touch.
Oh.
They varied in size from 10 to 12 inches.
So this was a crop circle?
Yeah, it was like kind of like what you see in like the movies, I guess, but there's this like white graphite feeling residue.
Kind of reminds me of a Sixth Sense.
Yeah.
With the one that the kid that saw, or no, which one was that? One of those movies, those kind of suspenseful ones.
Yeah, there's like so this is kind of like the movies. the remote field, which is near the junction of like Dunn County highways P and D, isn't one like frequented by pranksters. So this is just kind of like a relaxed area, so nobody really goes here.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is like, because of this, it's like fueling the UFO speculation. It's 1988, height
Yep.
of like UFO. So now this just,
Yeah, we've had a lot of 1988 ones.
yeah, and it's just like, and now there's this. But then there was also a teenager who lives near the field, recently told her friend she'd seen flashing lights in the area. And then right afterwards, she saw something drop to the ground near the field. And then she was just freaked out, and I don't blame her. And she just ran to the
Right.
house. She just wanted away, which makes sense to me because all these other people, all these other like people, they have like this horror movie logic where they just go and they like investigate, and that's
Yep.
how you die. Like I don't know why you would do
Wow.
that. Like that is crazy though. So they didn't really know what it was. There's like no. I mean,
Okay.
they gathered samples, and
Right.
they
So
do say it feels like,
so this is kind of unexplained still.
yeah, they said it felt like graphite, which is
Okay.
very, very weird. And there's like, it's like this weird thing where they don't really know what it's about.
Okay.
I mean,
All right.
like, what are you
Okay.
gonna?
Well, let's go to the location of Prescott. From we're gonna get into the millennium here now.
Oh,
2023.
so that's like almost 20
This
years
is new,
later.
yeah, this is newer. Now, a helicopter like object shot across the sky like a meteoroid as it was chased by a military aircraft and left a strange trail.
See, that's so it's a military, so the military
Right.
knew about it, but this time it left a trail.
Yeah, so now, all right, there's no name in here. So I'll just read his account. I woke to a loud noise of a low flying F. He doesn't know what kind of F model U.S. aircraft. The information with another jet. It was so close to the ground, I noticed it was in the typical, typical color or whatever. This isn't unusual because I live near Minneapolis International Airport, and that is near there. So, and there is a military base and National Guard and Air Force. And he glanced at his alarm clock next to his bed, and the time was exactly 2:54 as the minute just changed. My window is facing north, but I can see a large view because it's the second story.
Hmm.
Okay, toward and I live on a hillside, and it's very open. It was a clear night with moonlight, which reflected off the ice and snow. I glanced out my window to see the typical airline liners en route to the airport on descent path to the Minneapolis airport. However, a loud sound was rumbling in the valley. The jets were out of sight at this time. I saw an object in the distance about a mile and a half away from my house. Visibility was good. I could see River Falls, Wisconsin. 8 miles to my house, nice and bright. I saw what appeared at the time and dismissed it as a helicopter hovering with very bright lights. So he was able to, differentiate. He said he saw a
Yeah.
helicopter at one point, but it wasn't. So at that time he disappeared. So he had an open mind.
Yeah.
But it wasn't any helicopter I have seen before. It was very hard to make out, but it was just one. But it was just one very bright light. No
Mm.
green or red tail lights. As I got out of bed and looked closer, I noted it was a triangular thing.
Try.
Oh,
Oh, we usually
oh,
get saucer
okay,
shaped triangle. What?
yeah. As I watched this thing hover back and forth for about 1 minute, the sound of turbine engines got very loud, enough to wake my dogs. The military aircraft reversed direction in a loop and headed towards the light. They very they were very close to the ground, but gained altitude quickly. As they flew over my house, the object got brighter, then shot like a meteoroid across the screen, leaving a trail like a jumbo jet. However, this trail lasted about 30 seconds. As the military aircraft approached the trail, they broke formation and went out of sight. First, I thought it was military training, but after that, but after I thought about it more, it was very unusual. And that day, I was talking about airplanes with my friend who lives closer to River Falls to the area of the craft. He saw the formation and the light and talked that one of his friends at the hospital or talked to one of his friends at the hospital, and their medevac helicopter stayed grounded all night.
That's so weird that it would.
So, well, yeah, I'm not sure.
I mean, why would that? I mean, there's these like the military's getting involved. So the military is like close by. We know that, and there's like the guard there. There's um like a lot of military presence, and
Yeah.
they still can't stop this thing.
So, let's close with a a really quick one here, actually, that is very current. This one is there. There are more in between here, but I think this is a pretty good representation. So let's
Mm.
close with one from October of 2020.
Wow. So
Yeah,
like COVID, like everyone's
yeah,
home.
yep. So this happens in Pippin, Wisconsin, and the person is unknown. So I noticed this red light north about a quarter of a mile distance, then just above the tree line. Then with white dots started appearing, dim then growing brighter in a triangle. I got my phone, started shooting video, but it only took a picture. The next 5 minutes was nothing less than phenomenal, with nothing being short of spectacular. With the naked eye, well, what I thought I was capturing, taking a video of, the triangle pinpoints were then connected by beams at the same time in synchrony. Then another bar shaped light from the lower left side to the center, growing brighter and brighter, divided itself in sections on both sides from the middle, as if imagining the fields below facing the in a southern direction for a few minutes.
So
Okay, well, I don't know what to make of that.
they just like separate and they just stay there.
And the phone didn't shoot video; it only took a picture.
That's so weird. I mean, we've heard like um that like but I don't think we've heard that it can cause like frequencies like
Yeah,
to be messed up or anything like that is I don't know how to
yeah,
feel about that one.
yeah. That one is a little out there.
I mean, I think most of these were pretty consistent, especially in the area. A lot of them were same colored lights, and then as we got on, they progressed to green light. They became different. Like the time went on, but like at the height of it, so much happened, and then slowly activity went down.
Well, I think that covers our Elmwood
I
pretty
think
good.
so.
Um, we will bring up some from Dundee and the history of Bellevue as well, and let's for future episodes.
Thank you for watching. We hope you join us on our next podcast.
And remember to join me for the bonus content episode next week, Friday.